Hi, good evening, and welcome to this first time of doing this weekend overview of what I'm expecting for price going into this week. Now, I've done this before, so bear with me. I don't do like Sunday analysis for the public. I just do my personal Sunday analysis, and then I just go on to Monday to look at what Monday will do. But today I decided to do this for everyone so that the majority of the people in the public will see what we do in here and how we been able to be calling the prices as some of the trades that I share in the main channel. So going into this week, I've gone through price and I've selected a few pairs that I'll be focusing on for this week. Now, there's a lot of reasons why I've selected just these pairs, and if I say I'm going to go through the reasons why, it's going to take us hours. There's a lot of analysis outside the chart that I did that made me choose this pairs, right? So if you do want to know why, maybe only the VIP members will know why going into tomorrow live session, but I'll just go through them and explain why based on what I'm seeing. So starting with CAD CHF or CAD Swiss, the reason why I selected this pair is because the daily is bullish. So most of the pairs that you see here, the reason why I selected them is because all of them, the daily is in a trend. So I like to go with the daily trend, and also it has got upside objectives that are still yet to be met. So if I couple that with what I'm seeing on the daily, it makes sense that going into the week I focus on these pairs, and then based on the things that I look outside the chart, the other pairs might consolidate, but even if they do move, I'm not gonna concern myself. But because of what I saw during my analysis, they might consolidate. I don't know, but if they do move, I don't mind myself with them. I'm just gonna focus on these ones for now. Okay. So looking at CAD Swiss, we are looking for price to, or I am looking for price to continue to go up. That would depend very much how we're going to trade tomorrow during London. So looking at the daily, you can see clearly we are trying to push up. We did have this sort of equal high here that price did run on Thursday, and on Friday it did consolidate. So going into tomorrow, I'll be expecting price to continue going up. The reason being, if you see these candles, they are printing up candles, right? So because of that, it means there's a high probability that price is going to continue going up. Even though we've taken out this high, I'll still continue to buy. Now, what would change my bias from buying is if we do close below this low. So going into tomorrow, I want to see how London will trade. If we do manage to close below this low, then I will put my bias to the upside, maybe on hold on Monday, and then see how price will trade on Tuesday. Whatever happens, I'm still looking for price to reach for these upside objectives. So if we do close below this low, maybe it's just going for a pullback. So then I'll look for where potentially price is going to pull back to, and then I will look for price to reverse and then go back up again. So if we do close below this low, probably they might take it down here, basically measuring between this high and that low and that high, potentially price coming back to 50% roughly, and then I'll start looking for price to continue going up. Because of the nature of the weekly range where price did close bullish, okay, anytime we close bullish, price does continue to go in that same direction unless something happens and then price will change its mind. So the way I trade the weekly range is based on how Monday is gonna close. So Monday closing bearish, if Monday closes down, then maybe I'll hold on to the long and then buy between Tuesday London and Wednesday New York. So if we close bearish on Monday, that might close below this low, then I'll be looking at potentially this and that level as where price might turn around on Tuesday or Wednesday, forming the low of the week, and then I'll be looking for price to reach for these green lines. The green lines that you see is basically a gap on the high time frame. So on the weekly, it's just one single candle, but it does have a gap. So I'm looking for price to go up and fill this gap, right? So if you want to go long, I'll suggest you wait till tomorrow morning London and then see if they can close above this down candle's high. So once they do close above that candle's high, I'll place my stop loss here, and then I'll target this as my first objective and then that as my second target. Okay, so if they close above here on Monday during London or New York, wherever time they close, that'll be the ideal time to look for price to continue going up. So that will be the CAD Swiss. CAD Yen, similar. You saw me share a chart in the public explaining that we did have some free money in here, right? It's because of this candle. There was nothing in here that could stop price. Therefore, once we went above, it's just free money that price is going to rally. I was expecting it to close in basically this imbalance or this gap, and we did not finish. So going into this week, I'll be expecting price to basically go up there and then potentially reach for that one as well. Okay, so CAD Yen, I'm expecting price to continue going up. Now, based on my analysis on the basically the futures market for the currencies, i.e. the Japanese yen, the Swiss, the British pound, the euro, the Aussie, and the New Zealand, the yen was showing me lots of weakness. So you can see I've got lots of yen pairs in here because I'm expecting yen to continue to be weak. Therefore, if you just find a pair that is strong, you pair it with the yen and then you just keep buying. Okay, so again, I'm not going to buy right now. I'll wait till tomorrow morning and then see how London is going to trade. So the level that I might look for a buy would be somewhere down here if they drop down, right? If they don't drop down, then I'll use the 4 hour and then I'll wait for price. I'll wait for price to close above this high, which is last week's high. I'll wait for 4 hours to close above it, and then I'll use this down candle. I'll use that down candle as my stop loss, and then I'll look for sorry guys, so I've got my wife having fun in the house and she was trying to disturb. Right, so if we do close above this high tomorrow morning during London, then I will buy and leave my stop loss here. If not, then I'll wait for price to pull back into this tiny little gap that you see here, and then I'll be looking for a buy to continue going up. All right, so I'm still expecting yen to reach for 83.57 and 84.02. Now, what would change my bias for this pair would be if Monday we do drop and we close below Friday's low. Okay, that would be the only reason why I would change my bias on CAD Yen for the buy. So Monday, if we do let's say price drops and does not give me a rejection in here, and then just continue to drop, and we end up the day closing below this low, then I'll put my long bias to the sidelines, and then I'll wait till probably Tuesday or Wednesday during London or New York, and then I'll see if price is going to turn around, because it might be looking to retrace to form the low of the week and then go back up again. I'll show you an example on Euro Yen, where Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday we did drop for the week, and then on Friday price rejected to go back up. So we could see something like that, but that would depend on how Monday is going to trade. But because of the nature of this candle, this particular Friday candle, I don't expect that to happen, but it can, but I don't expect it. So I'll look for the buy during London, and if they happen to close or stop me out and close below this low, then I'll just wait till probably Wednesday or Tuesday during New York. Then I'll look for the buy to continue going up, and I'll be targeting 83.57 and 84.02. Next one is Euro. So on Euro USD, we did retrace into a very high probability level down here. I had that level. I did not buy because I had lots of position on CAD Yen and CAD Swiss and Aussie Yen. So I did not look to buy this pair. However, we did get a big rejection. So with that rejection, I'll be expecting price to now go up. I'm looking at this level here, okay, between this high and that low. That's where I'm expecting price to go between Monday and Tuesday. So again, same protocol. I'll wait for Monday during London, and I'll see where they're going to retrace. Now I do have two levels that I'll be watching. So I'm watching this one and that one. And how I'll trade it is just wait for price to get there during London. And then if London forms a low, okay, so this is what I'll be looking for. I'll wait for price to drop down into that gap. And then during London, I want to see something like this form. Okay, so during London, price will drop into that gap, whether this one or that one, and then form something like this. And once it turns around, it will form a swing low. And then once I get this formation, that swing low on the fourth candle, I'll be going long, and then I'll leave my stop loss below here. So tomorrow morning, I'll be watching this and that, and wherever that low forms, that's where I'll be going long. I don't know where it's going to form. I'll just wait for it to form, and then once it forms, then I'll be looking for the long to continue going up, and I'll be targeting the basically gap that you see me highlight here, and then I'll leave something on for this gap on the 4-hour here. Now the reason why I'll leave something on is because if you look on the daily, we have an impulse leg to the downside, so this could be a pullback and potentially continuation. I don't like to call lows and highs. I just wait for price to show me. The dollar index, if you do look at the dollar index, you can see, let me bring it up here so you can see there. So the dollar index did reject once we went above between this high and that low. So that is a pullback, and we could potentially see price going down. But again, I don't want to call this one a high yet for price to go down. I just want to trade every week as it gives me. Okay, so this week I'm still bullish on dollar, regardless of we being between this high and that low and a pullback. I will just treat this particular week separate. So on dollar, I'll be expecting price to pull back in here and then see if they will reject and come back above this high. So that's exactly how I'm going to treat the euro. Now, if they happen to break it, okay, if they happen to break this level, there's a 4-hour gap on the lower time frame. Excuse me for having too many drawings. That's what I do all the time. right? So this imbalance in here, I want to see it hold. So that's where I'll be watching price to drop to between Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But if they manage to go through that, that's when I will change my bias. And then on euro, I will continue. On euro, I'll continue to look for longs to continue going up. So if we do get that scenario, then euro, I'll be looking for price to come up here for the long term. Okay, so I'll be targeting this high, and then potentially that high. That will be for long term. Okay, so I'll take this week as it is, and then if this week gives me price to continue going up, breaking this high, then I'll look for price to now come up here. Okay, but for this week, I'll just be expecting price to potentially come up there and then come back down, because that's what I can see now. Now if that changes and then break above that high, then I'll switch and then go up with it, because at this current moment it's not clear what they're trying to do. It just looks like they will try and come back down. That's what I can see now based on every single week. So I want to trade based on every single week what it's doing, and then if I'm wrong once, it will give me information as to what price is trying to do, and then I will go with that. Right, so we're gonna look for a long from here to come up there, and then once we get there, I'll look at price action based on the 4-hour and the daily to see if they will reject, and then I'll look for a short to come back down. And if it does not give me that and it breaks above this high, then I'll look for the long to come up here. Euro yen, same thing. I'm expecting price to continue going up. If you go on the daily, the reason why I'm looking for price to continue going up is because of what I said earlier. The yen is weak. Okay, the yen is weak. We've had 2 weeks of bullish price action, and we had 1 week of price retracement. So we've had 2 weeks of bullish price action and then 1 week of price retracement. Now I did see this as a pullback. I did not see it as price going up to come back down. I see this as a pullback within the weekly range between that high and that low. That is just a pullback, and then it should continue going back up. So this week I'll be targeting this high, that high, and potentially that. So I'll see again during London, because I like to trade during London or New York. Whichever gives me that pullback and turns around, that's the one I'll be going for. So again, tomorrow you want to just wait. Don't get an entry yet, because London usually goes into a pullback. So if we do see price drop during London, then you want to wait for this scenario. Now you can wait for 1 hour time frame or 15 minutes time frame. It depends on which one you prefer. I like to use the 1 hour, because the 1 hour gives me more in terms of price action. 15 minutes can change its mind very quickly. So 15 minutes can form something like this, right? Form something like this, only for one candle to drop back down again. Okay, but if 1 hour forms something like this, that will be more meat to price. I see it as more reliable than the 15 minutes. So I prefer the 1 hour. You can use the 15 minutes if you want, and you can get a sniper entry. Maybe your stop loss will be very small, smaller than mine, but we'll still be having the same target, right? So I'll be expecting price to see if we can dip in here, and once we dip in there, I jump onto the 1 hour and then start looking for price to give me something similar to this, right? It forms a low, and then we close above previous candle, and then I'll go long, and then I'll leave my stop loss below the low, and then I'll be targeting upside objectives. Right, so euro yen, you want to be looking for a buy. Again, what will change the bias? and bias will change if Monday ends up closing bearish, right? So if Monday ends up closing bearish, they might want to come back down a little bit more, and I don't want to be in a trade long when it's closing bearish, because it might do something similar to this. Close Monday bearish, Tuesday bearish, Wednesday bullish, Thursday bearish, and then Friday reject. So if Monday does close bearish, then probably they might go down Tuesday and form the low on Tuesday before price rejecting. Okay, so again, just wait, be patient, don't rush to get into the trade, and let price give you and it turns around, then you look for the buy. Right, Euro New Zealand. So Friday I managed to get myself a buy in here, and I was targeting that high, and price did not get there as my upside objective. So this week I'm just looking for price to continue. I'm in a buy, and I'm just looking for price to get there. That will be all I'm expecting on this pair for now. Now it might decide to change its mind and go up, and I'll be fine with it. I'm just looking for price to come here because the daily is still bearish. The only reason why I'm buying is because of I personally take every single candle independently and trade them. So because they did manage to close above this candle's high on Friday, that's my basis of looking for price to come back up here. Okay, because I treat it just like I treat a weekly candle. I treat the daily up candle or down candle just like I would treat a weekly candle. So looking at the daily, the fact that they were able to close above this means there's a potential that price will reach for my target and probably close in this gap. Right, that's a gap, so that's what I'm targeting. But I want to get something off here and then look to see if they can get up there. So going into tomorrow, I'll just leave my trade to go up there. But you can basically, I think if this was London, this will be where I'll buy. Okay, if this was London, I'll buy this down candle and then leave my stop loss below here and then go up. But because it's just now market open, I don't think it's ideal to be taking any trade at this. I don't like taking trades on Sunday opening because Monday tends to probably drop overnight, because once we hit 12 o'clock there's some flow in the market that can drive price down furthermore. Okay, there's still an imbalance in here that they can still drop price into, and it will still be valid to go up. Okay, the only thing that is not good is they don't need to close below this low. Okay, that is the previous day, which is Friday's low. That's Friday's low. They don't need to close below it on an hourly basis. So if they drop down here and hit this imbalance, if they do hit this imbalance, it should just be a run on stop. Okay, it should just come down and be a run on stop, something like this. Right, something like that. It should just come down, run a low, and then reject. That's what I would expect it to do, and not close below. So you can watch it and see if it will do something like that on Monday. Okay, and if it does, then you can look for a buy and have this same setup that I have, because I did catch the long here and then I was expecting price to get there for Friday, and that did not happen. Okay, so you can catch the same thing if they do drop there, and that would be all I'm expecting on this pair, because we're still bearish on the daily. Right, I'm anticipating some form of a reversal, but again, I don't call lows and I don't call highs. I just wait for them to fall. So if I'm going to look for more potential buys, then I will have to see them break this high. Yeah, I would like to see them break this high before I look for the buy, or on the weekly time frame close above this candle. If they do close above that candle, then yes, I will look for potential price to go up, right? But until then, I'll just trade this one as I'm seeing it, and then I'll wait. Pound. So pound, I'm just looking for, I think my markings has disappeared. I'm looking for this equal high as my target for tomorrow morning. I'm looking for this equal high as my target for tomorrow morning. So I want to really try and find an entry between now and before London in the morning, because I think they're going to run this equal high. Why do I think they're going to run it? Because they have run this equal low here, right? So it makes sense now that they've rejected, they are going to run this. And on the daily time frame, send price here. So again, if they do manage to go and close above this, this will be similar to what I shared on CAD yen. Okay, this will be free money. Okay, so if they do close above the low of this imbalance, right, then this will be a free money area. You want to catch along and just ride it. You want to catch something like this. Okay, similar, same thing, because price is just fractal. It's doing the same thing over and over again. Same thing in here. That's a free money zone. So you're gonna catch something like that. Same thing in here. That's a free money zone. Okay, when we do have these massive drops and price goes above them, that's, to me, that's free money, because price is just gonna continue going up, right? So same thing on British pound. If we are able to close inside or above this high, that'll be free money. You just want to look for a long and continue going up. Your best trades would be doing London or New York. If you miss your London entry, basically gonna wait for New York to give you on a 15 minutes time frame a retracement between London low and then New York high, the New York open high. You want to look for a retracement and then you buy for continuation to the upside. So if we do get price to come up here, okay, and do something like this, the following day, which would be Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever day that it gives you that, doing New York or London, you want to be buying the same level, and then you want to hold on to your trade till price gets up there. So this will be one of the trades that I should get an entry because of the equal high. I just love targeting equal highs and equal lows. Last week I got a short in here to target this equal low. So I definitely want to get, even though I don't like what this pair is doing on the daily, I don't like what it's been doing so far. I like this. Okay, again, notice the candles that I'm pointing you to. I'm pointing you to candles closing above or below its previous candle, right? Those are the ones you want to be trading. And then when it's wicking like this, when it's giving you wicks like this, you just don't trade. But when it has this kind of price action, next day you want to be looking for potential long. Alright, so I'll be looking for price to take out this go high and then hit this level. So my first target is here, second target is there, and then I'll leave my last portion to go and close in that imbalance. But this will all depend on what the dollar index would do. Dollar index should reach this gap, and once it gets there for this week, that will be what I'll be expecting. And then if it does start turning around, then I'll look for reversals on the foreign currencies, especially the majors, just the majors, not the cross pairs. So pairs like Euro USD and Pound, I'll expect some form of a reversal, especially on Euro. I'll expect price to reverse. On British Pound, I'll just expect a pullback because this is still bullish. So price runs up, dollar turns around, pullback. Euro runs up, dollar turns around, continuation. Okay, so that is British Pound. Pound yen, you already see me, I did do my entry. Price has just wicked me in. I was looking for potentially price to retrace to this with my stop loss below there, and I'm looking for this as my target. But this time is not best time for me to be trading, so again I'll wait till tomorrow morning and then I'll look for an entry. So that will be where I'm targeting. And again, if you go onto the daily, we do have free money on the table right there. Let me leave this one here because that's a mean threshold. That'll be a partial profit taking. So this whole big area is basically free money again. So once you close above it, that's your free money zone to look for a trade to come up to this low, right? Again, similar candle. We did manage to close above previous candles, so I'm expecting price to go up. What will negate my trade if we close bearish on Monday? If we close bearish on Monday, it's just a pullback, so I'll be looking for let's clear all this thing. So if we close bearish on Monday, all the pairs that I'm pointing for a buy, they will just be going into a pullback on the 4-hour range. Okay, so this is how they can, most of the buys that I'm showing you, this is how they look like. So when Monday does close bearish, okay, let's say Monday closes like this. This is the daily time frame, right? If it does close like this, this will be a 4-hour, something like this. 4-hour made an impulse like, so the 4-hour is going for a pullback. So you want to just find an area on the 4-hour and then you look for a buy. That's basically it. So if you go into Euro Yen, if Monday closes bearish, drop down to the 4-hour, you're gonna see a 4-hour low here, and then that high. You'll be looking for price to drop. You can use the fib between the low and the high, and then just buy 618 or 70.5. I like 70.5, but I can start buying at 618 if you want to get in early and not miss the trade. I like 70.5. So if Monday closes bearish, this will be where I'll be looking for price to come to. Okay, because it will just be a pullback, and then we'll be looking for potentially price to hit back up again. That's what Pound Yen did last week. So if you go on the daily, I'm just gonna get rid of this quickly. Okay, if you go on the daily, notice that this is Friday, that's Thursday, that's Wednesday, that's Tuesday, that's Monday. So Monday did close bearish, right? So when we did close bearish, all you had to do is go, just get this one off, drop down to the 4-hour, identify your 4-hour range. This is your 4-hour low to the high, and then you'll be looking to buy either 70.5 or 618. I got a short to come down here. I didn't buy it because I was in a Aussie Aussie yen long. Okay, so you'll be looking for something similar like this to happen if the daily closes bearish on Monday. Okay, and you'll be expecting price to expand back up here, taking out this high and reaching for these levels. Pound New Zealand, I'm sorry. Let's remove all this. Again, go on the daily. This is also looking very good. You notice we did close on Thursday above this high. We do have relative equal highs in here. We have also run sell side liquidity into a gap. So it's looking very nice to attack this equal high. So again, what I'll be doing is drop down to the 4-hour. I'll be looking for a pullback between this low and that high, and I'll probably buy somewhere here because that's a breaker. Okay, the reason why I'm buying there is because we did close bearish on Friday. Not bearish as in close below previous day's low, but we did close as a down candle, right? So I'll be looking for 618. It can hit this, take out this low and go back up. So I will still watch it, right? I don't want to buy there because it's a gap. I will watch the lower time frame and look for the scenario that I've been drawing. Okay, but I have to look for this. If you see on the 4-hour did close bearish. Okay, so then I'll have to look for a 4-hour to give me the opposite of this. So 4-hour needs to drop, give me something like this. Then on the very next candle that opens, I'm buying and I'm leaving my stop loss below here. Okay, so based on this time frame, I will just have to wait for the 4-hour to give me the opposite of this. But the daily is still bullish. Okay, so I'll be looking for this equal high. Dollar CAD, I'm looking for a sell. Dollar CAD, I'm looking for a sell. Let's get rid of this for now. And the reason why I'm looking for a sell is because, again, if you look on the daily, we have a bearish. So my red candles are my bearish order blocks and my green candles are my bullish order block. So because we did manage to close down and the dollar is looking to go into a retracement for maybe between Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll be expecting this price to drop. However, because I also have a bullish order block here, it might find some challenges to go through it. So that's why I have these green levels as potential target areas. So the target is basically a gap on the 4-hour, and then that one is also a gap on the 4-hour. So these are my downside objectives. My short level will be if we do get up there. So based on the 4-hour, that's where I want to short, and I'll leave my stop loss above here, and this will be my potential trade idea. Now it can take out these equal lows. Okay, it can take out this equal low and come into here, but because of what I'm expecting on the daily on the dollar index, it might not. So I'll just take most of my profit if I get the short. If it does give me an entry, I'll take most of my profit here, and then I'll leave something on to see if they can break this low. Okay, because that's the last, if you look, that's the last swing low prior to this move up, and all this is just complex pullbacks. It's just going sideways, it's not doing nothing. So we need to break this low before we can reach for these levels. And again, like I said, I don't predict them, I just wait for it to show them to me. So if I get a short I'll be targeting 1, 2, and then I'll leave some of my trade position on to see if we can take out this low. Right, so dollar CAD, I'm expecting price to drop. Aussie, got so many drawings. Let's get rid of some of them. Aussie is very strong. If you look at, I use the futures market. Now, if you don't know what I mean by futures market, this is what I mean, the futures currency. So we do have just the Australian dollar. This is just the Australian dollar. That's the British pound. It's not the currency pair, it's the futures. Okay, it's not the currency pair, it's the futures. So I look at those to determine the strong and the weak. Okay, before I actually look at this on a daily basis. So this is just on a daily basis. I use it to see what currency are strong and what currency are weak. Okay, that's for me on a daily basis. But before I come into the week, I do my analysis on this and I determine which one is strong. So once the week starts, I already know which currencies that are going to be strong and weak, because it will show me here before it actually comes up in here. So during the week, then I'll just look at them and see and make sure that they are still in line. And you can see my yen. The reason why I'm looking at yen to be weak, you can see it right here. If I go into the weekly, you can still see it there. Right, so that's why I'm looking to buy the pairs against the yen. Right, so that's what I mean by futures market. So by looking at the futures market, Aussie is very strong. The reason why it's very strong is because it did not drop even with all that rally that dollar did last week. So it's showing relative strength to the upside. So I just have to pair it with currencies that are weak. Right, so dollar is potentially weak, yen is potentially weak, and there was another pair that is potentially weak, but I did not add it to this. That is the Aussie Swiss. Right, Aussie Swiss, that is also weak, and we do have equal high. So again, that's another pair that you can look for a buy going into tomorrow and attack this equal high. I did not add it to it. I think I was in a rush. Okay, so very nice equal highs in here. We've seen price rejected and came back up above this high. So it's very, I like this one. Let's see if we do have free money on the upside. We don't have free money on the upside. However, it's really bullish. It shows lots of potentials to go up. So you can look for a buy on this. Use the same technique that I gave you here, right? This technique. Use the same thing to find an entry tomorrow morning, and then you look for price to take out this high, and potentially just look on the lower time frame on this one. I did have another pair. Give me 1 second. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. And there will be an imbalance somewhere in here. So let's double check. Right there. So that's where I'll be looking for price to come into. Right, so that'll be my target. above this equal high, this would be my target, right? Between Monday and Tuesday, that's what I'm targeting. Not a lot of pips, but it's still something. That's about 44 pips, right? And my stop loss would be below the gap, so my stop loss would be below this candle's low. Okay, so that's another high probability trade for upside objective. Let's jump back to Aussie. So Aussie, I'm expecting price to take out this high and come into this and close that in. If you look on the daily, it's also a pullback between this high and that low. So I'm looking at price to come up here, and then looking at what the dollar is doing, potentially can come back down. But because of how strong this pair is, it might stay sideways. It might not drop. It might stay sideways. And then once dollar changes its mind, this is going up here. Now I'm going to give you a long-term objective on this because I can see it happening. So I'm measuring this manipulation to the downside, clone, and put it right here. So for the rest of the week, I'm looking for, for the rest of the year or this quarter, between January and March, end of March, or between February and April, I'll be expecting this high and this level to be traded to. Between now and April, I'll be expecting price to trade up here. We are still bullish. Okay, we are just in a pullback or sideways market. Okay, so this equal high and that level is where I have my eye for the next 2 months. Okay, so if dollar turns around, we know where price should be going. Okay, so this week, this is where I'm expecting price to get to, and then once price gets to the downside on the dollar, I'll see if it's going to turn around. If it continues going down, then this will be the pair that I'll buy, and because it's very, very strong, it has not done any drop massively as compared to euro. So this would be the pair that I'll be jumping on for a continuation to the upside. We've been bullish from down here. We caught a buy in here, and then we've just ride this thing to where it's now. Aussie yen, this was the trade I caught on Friday. That's why I did not participate in the other trades. So I got a buy here, right there, and I was targeting this equal high. So that's why I did not buy the pound yen, because I was bullish on the pound yen. Even though I looked for the short to go down, I was still bullish because of the daily. So this was the trade I enjoyed over the course of Friday, because this whole move happened on Friday. Go on the daily, that's one huge candle on Friday. Again, the same thing. If you look what I'm showing you here, notice how we had this candle closing above that candle, so showing intent that price still wants to go up. So if you drop down to the hourly time frame, what time did the low form? It did form during Asia, but during London, I think it gave me a pullback in here. Yeah, here. Okay, but I already went long in here because I bought the run on this low. Okay, I bought the run on that low, and then London gave me another entry, and then I just held on to it till market was about to close, and then I closed the trade. So again, I'll be expecting a continuation to the upside. I think we also have free money on this. Yeah, up here we have a bit of free money and a small gap in here. So these are my upside objectives going into this week. So you can look for the same technique that I've shared down here. You can look for the same thing to happen for us to continue going up. What would change the buy if we close bearish on Monday? If we do close bearish on Monday, switch to the 4 hour, measure your 4-hour range, low to high, buy optimal trade entry, and then look for price to continue going up. Okay, but I don't think it should do that. It should just continue going up. So tomorrow morning you want to be hunting for a long on this. Now bear in mind, you cannot trade all of these. That's not going to happen. Okay. If you take all of these and I don't know, anything happens, you don't want to be in all of these. Okay, so you can take whichever you want and then trade it. Okay, don't trade all of them. Not because I'm calling them you have to trade every single one of them. You just have to choose and see which one has got more profit potentials. Okay, which one has got more pips to the upside. Okay, and then you trade that one. Okay, maybe 2 or 3 of them, but not all of them. Okay, I don't trade all of these. I have special ones that I trade. I trade the Euro Yen. I trade the Euro New Zealand and the CAD Swiss and CAD Yen. Those will be the ones I'll be focusing on. But all these are still good trades. So don't look at them as, okay, IT is calling all of these, so I'm going to take all of them. And probably the one that you might take might not play out. So just be cautious, don't take everything. Just pick and choose. At least 3 of them. And I think I've just gone through Aussie Swiss. So we're looking for price to take out this equal high and potentially come up to this imbalance on the 4-hour between Monday and Tuesday. So that will be it from me. I don't know if we do have option for people to ask question, or if we have option for people to ask a pair that they want me to look for them. Okay, if you have a pair that you want me to look at for you, maybe you can drop it down in the public session and then I'll look at it. And if you want to look at the trade ideas, okay, the direction, you can take a screenshot. I'm gonna go through on the 4-hour so you can see the levels that I'm expecting price to reach for. Okay, so the levels I'm expecting price to reach for will be these. Okay, so you can take a screenshot on, actually I'll take a screenshot and just drop it in the public. Make much easier that way. And once I'm done, I'll just give you guys one tip to help with trading. So those of you here, you understand the levels. Those that are not here, probably they might not understand, but that's how I do my stuff. I don't show you entry. I do show the VIP members potential entries when we do the London session and the New York session, but that's as far as I can do, because I cannot predict exactly where price is going to turn around, because I don't have that money to turn price around, so they can turn it around wherever they want. Okay, so during London, when you do have session and I see the potential turnaround, then I'll just call it for them. That's my entry. Pound New Zealand. Let's see potential upside objectives again. That one, I did not bring that one up. That will probably give a rejection, so make sure you don't look for beyond that on Tuesday or Wednesday when price gets here, because it might give a reaction to bring price into a pullback again. So as I'm doing that, if you do have any pair that you want me to run through and give you what it's trying to do, just send it in the public chat, and then I'll quickly go over it for you. Actually, let me look at this one again, because I wanted to do some projections. I'll leave this one and do some projections. $127 takes us to that one, so that would be a good level for partial. And then 168, so that would be where potentially I'll look for scaling out. So this would be a good level for scaling out. I'm gonna put that in red. Okay, that would be a good level for scaling out. Price will give a reaction in here, but this would be a good level for scaling out. Okay, and then you leave the rest to continue going up. Okay, so that will be all. If you do have, like I mentioned, any pair that you want me to run through for you, send it in the public chat, so I'll just look at it for you. If not, then I'm just gonna right, so someone was asking what are the boxes he is inserting on the live. So the boxes are basically fair value gaps, or quote unquote imbalances. So an imbalance is basically showing you the footprint of where quote unquote big money was buying. So this is how, actually let's delete all this. So next candle opens here, shoots up, leaves a wick, and then next candle opens here, leaves a wick and shoots up. Okay, this is the boxes that I'm drawing. This box is showing you that someone with big money entered the market down here. Someone with big money entered the market down here, and this is a footprint of them entering the market. So that will be an area. If I'm looking for an entry, if price drops back down into it with a down candle, I'll be looking to buy here and then go back up again, right? And then if I'm selling down, that's where I'll be taking my profit. I'll be taking my profit here, because I know that there is someone with big money footprint there. So they might be looking to bounce, not necessarily reverse, but it might bounce, and I don't want to be, let's say I took the short right here, okay, and then price is coming back down. Let's ignore this for now. Let's say I took a short here and the price dipped in. I don't want to be holding on to my trade to go past this. I have to take something off here, because if I don't, price can do this and come back and stop me out. Yeah, price can do this and come back and stop me out. So I use that as a target, and I use that as an entry as well. Okay, so I guess no one has any question or any pair they want me to look at. So I'm gonna leave you guys with this, a tip for helping you with your trading. So you want to be looking at every single candle, okay? Especially this is the weekly. I want you to focus on the weekly time frame. Okay, don't focus on the daily, focus on the weekly, and see how the weekly candles are printing, are closing. So every end of the week, see how price did close. If you see price close above a previous week candle, the following week you look for a buy. It's as simple as that. If you see price close below a previous week candle like this, okay, the following week you look for a sell, right? What might end up happening is the following week, which is this particular week, price might come back inside to find an imbalance here or here, wherever, okay? That will cause price to retrace between Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. When that happens, I want you to look at this high and that low, measure that range, and above 50%, this low and that high, measure that range, and above 50%, let's say this is 50%. If you do find an imbalance, so an imbalance is what I just showed you, that footprint, okay, this one. But you'll be looking, if it's a sell, you'll be looking for on the upside. If you do find an imbalance, you can look for a buy to come up there and then look for a sell to come back down, if this is present on your weekly chart. And you just reverse it for the opposite, which is buying. So if we do close above previous candles low, high, like this, okay, the following week you want the price to go up. If you see price dropping, measure the low to the high below 50%, find the imbalance, look for price to retrace. You can sell short on Monday if we break structure low. I'm not going to go into details, but if we break a swing low, you can start looking for sell for price to come down and hit the imbalance. And once you get down here, you want to be looking for a buy, and now your target will be back above this week high. Okay, very, very simple, and it will help you with your trade direction. So you just do that every single Friday. So Friday close, you want to mark out and see, where did my candle close? Did it close above or it close below? Now if it does something like this, so let's say this is a week and we close, let's say we did this, okay, we close above, right? and then this week we do something like this. So we closed above and then we closed below. This is high probability price is gonna drop. Again, you look for price to either pull back, or on that next week, Monday, see where price drops to. Does it break any short-term low? If it breaks any short-term low, it's gonna go into a pullback, and then you look for a sell to continue going down. If it does not break any short-term low, then it's gonna form the low of the week and then expand to the downside again. Right, just look on your weekly chart. This will be obvious to you, be so clear. And then when do you want to avoid using this? You want to avoid it when it does something like this. So when the wick does not close above nor below its previous candle, okay, so it can do something like this or this. When it does something like this, you want to avoid trading that pair for that week, because when you don't see the closure, you don't have high probability direction for that particular week. Okay, for that particular week, you don't have high probability direction. It can go anywhere, so you don't trade. And then you go and look for pairs that did have whether up or down, and then you trade those. So if you look on the pairs that I gave you, you look on the weekly, all of them close above previous week. This one did, that one did, this one did close below, that one did not, but this one did. So I used the same technique last week here. This one, if you look, let me zoom in so you can see it properly. It did close below previous week's low. Right there, it did close below. This one did not. Okay, this one did not, but I'm using on the daily. Like I'm giving you, use it on the weekly for your weekly direction, for your trade direction. Yen also did, NZD did not, but I'm using it on the daily. Okay, dollar CAD did, but on the weekly did not, so I'm using it on the daily. But I don't want you to focus on the daily, because the daily is too short of time frame, so it might be a bit kind of hard to use because you don't understand everything. But on the weekly, it takes time, so if you're wrong, you will see it very easily. Again, using on the daily, on the weekly, it did not. Okay, Aussie yen weekly, it did, and then Aussie Swiss weekly, it did. Okay, so that's what I use to determine every single week my bias. So that would be it from me. Thank you all for joining. I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully I will try my best to be doing something like this every week for you guys. Let me know if you did enjoy it in the comment in the public chat, so that next week I'll probably do something like that again. So go home and enjoy your evening. Just set up your chart and then see what price will give you going into this week, and remember to use stop losses. Okay, take care of yourselves.